This is episode 91 of Zen and the Art of Real Estate Investing with my guest, Frank Hanna Jr. Frank is the founder of Revolution Exchange. He leads a team that provides comprehensive analysis, tailored programs, and turnkey solutions for tax-free exchanges. They are very focused on real estate investors as a wealth management company. He also has a history in real estate. Frank, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Jonathan.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. Let's start where we have definitely a shared background. Your dad was a multifamily investor. Tell me the first thing that you remember about being involved in real estate.
So kind of grew up around real estate. Didn't really understand it at first.
Same.
I saw it going on. A lot was happening, good, bad, and different. But he started in the restaurant business and actually had some success there, and took some of his first years of success and capital and started investing in real estate. He began with a single family home, rented it out. And I think beyond his financing and his repairs and maintenance, I think he said he was putting about $100 in his pocket per month.
That's good at the time.
That might have been 50 years ago, but that was exciting to him. And he said that was pretty big money back then. But he ultimately started there, started accumulating more rentals, and then started building some of his own communities, and really kind of got his start in multifamily, mostly single family rentals.
What age were you when you first decided, like, hey, real estate's going to be at least an interest of mine? Because I know you went into different businesses before you got there, fully involved in real estate and financial management.
Yeah, I would say, like, as an early teen, I knew this was something I wanted to, like, incorporate into whatever, full-time career. I didn't necessarily know if it was going to be a full-time thing for me, but I saw the value of passive income, and I saw that type of accumulate. And he always taught us a lot about tax planning. So we were able to, kind of use that to, take our portfolio to the next level. But I would say mid-teens, I kind of started to look at that, and we went from, like, single family homes, construction, and he ultimately did a lot of 1031 exchanges. He bought a couple pieces of farmland, and we ended up exchanging out of that. And I think the multifamily community, as we kind of had it set up, which was all of our team kind of hands-on management, got very labor intensive. So we ended up selling most of our single family homes and parlaying that kind of into some triple net lease type properties with some single tenants, and also some, I'd say essential retail, shopping centers, that type of thing.
Yeah. I mean, and as far as passive income goes, triple net leases are pretty solid in that regard, right?
Yeah. I mean, you get the financial strength, assuming you've got a quality tenant in there. And being able to kind of hand off, the triple net piece of it, and let them take care of the, property taxes, repairs and maintenance and insurance stuff, allows you more flexibility and more security and enhanced cash flow typically.
Yeah. I mean, less upkeep because the tenant's really in charge of everything.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I mean, I guess for anybody who may not know, can you just go over what a triple net lease is and why it's attractive as an investment portal for anyone who's looking for cash flow and maybe a little bit more hands off on the business?
Yeah. So the triple net means that, the single tenant in place is responsible for those three pieces. So upkeeping, repairs and maintenance, insurance, property taxes. So if you've got a really strong tenant in place there, not only are they responsible for all those pieces, but, the theoretical, bomb could blow up that location, and 7-Eleven or whoever you have is responsible for any issues there. And as long as the lease is structured the right way, 7-Eleven corporate or whoever the entity is responsible for that lease. So we've had a lot of, situations where we kind of lean on those stories over time, and we've had locations fall out of favor. But because we've got the backing of that really strong tenant, we never missed a beat with rent collections.
Yeah. So, I mean, triple net's really, like, I guess a dichotomy of location and the tenant. I mean,
Yep.
obviously, like when I think of triple net, I don't know why I just think of CVS because it's like that's
Yeah.
solid.
Yeah.
Fast food's obviously a big triple net, but things can adjust along the way with those. But that's what mainly people are thinking of, these chains that are around that don't want to buy all their own properties for all these hundreds of thousands of locations. And that goes to diversification too, which we talked about briefly. I mean, when you're looking at, because I know from dealing with just general like financial managers over the years, they're a little bit not into real estate. But when you
Hmm.
come into wealth management with real estate as an asset class that you like to use, you can diversify within real estate as a whole because there's so many different types of assets that can deliver income and also suit a client's needs for maybe what they like for other investments, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think diversification, you hear that word all the time. And I think that goes across not only just real estate, but all types of investments and assets that you have. One thing my father kind of told me, he started in the restaurant business. So he took a lot of substantial risk there, and then he got into real estate. But once he started to have success there and kind of compound that cash flow and expand those properties, he started to, you know, divest into, tax-free municipal bonds and,
Yeah.
obviously had some money in the stock market. And, I think it's really important to have four legs to your chair. So, at one point in time, one piece of business or asset class is going to, have issues. And I think that's where, that diversification is critical. And when we're giving financial advice to anybody, most of our investors have, assets in real estate, and a large portion of their wealth is in real estate, but we always want them to have, true diversification outside of just all brick and mortar, real estate, or all one asset class, or all assets in one geographic area.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, this brings up a lot of things because I think like if I look at my career, I never had like a full team on board. I was always like moving pieces and move a financial advisor around, and then before I was licensed, I'd have one good agent that I didn't like, and then you're switching it around. But what you guys are doing is trying to kind of work all together so that you can help somebody maximize. And the only way to do that is to know really what their goals are and then what their other assets are, so you can really, like we were saying, put diversified pieces is so you don't have putting in the same thing. I mean, it's cool to do multifamily, but I don't think, I personally don't want to be like all in one asset class
Yep.
either, just because I get bored.
Yeah, no, I like, every year I think a new asset class comes to the forefront that I get hot on. But
Yeah.
yeah, we do a lot in multifamily, self-storage, student housing, triple net lease, industrial, a lot of different stuff that I think have good storylines behind it. And if you give, somebody the menu of options and advantages and disadvantages, they can kind of come in and say, hey, you know what? I like that. I don't like that. And they can get a confident start.
Yeah, I really like industrial too. I think industrial is an underserved asset class for a lot of people
Yeah,
who don't know. It's cheaper to
absolutely.
build. It's similar to self storage in a way where you're not going to have a ton of bathrooms and tenants. It's going to be
Yep.
much bigger, and the spaces have become completely multifunctional.
Yeah,
They're
absolutely.
not. It's not just like tractor storage anymore. I mean, there's
Hmm.
businesses in industrial parks now that create this kind of like off the beaten path vibe.
Yeah, the run on e-commerce and the death of, the traditional shopping mall have created such demand, and you just can't. The demand for that space is so huge that the rate in which they've been able to raise rents has been unprecedented, and you can't just build or drop one of those massive industrial centers just anywhere. So
Yeah.
it's a good storyline. I think that's going to be a good asset class for the foreseeable future.